All right, y'all. So I'm back. Part two on Nicki Minaj. She's back on social media. This time having an argument or back and forth with SZA. All right, which I don't know if this was on my bucket list for 2025, and I don't even really know if I really care that much, other than the fact that people are talking about it. But basically, and I just wrote a couple of notes down. She's accusing a guy named Punch from TDE. She's accusing him of harassment. And then SZA was just posting about Mercury retrograde, and then she just took an issue with that. Then she started calling SZA out for making comments about Sierra and Rihanna and Beyonce all the way from like 2011, girl. We like in 2025. And it's just like, what is going like what is happening now? The guy from TDE tried to come out and say she had asked SZA for a collaboration like 5 years ago. They never got back to her. They didn't think it was an issue. It's just a whole bunch of mess going on. Then Nicki took to her, I guess she was live talking to her Barb's, and pretty much just talking about SZA and the fake freckles, and she just was going on, and she just kind of at the end just kind of said, well, it's not even that serious. But I'm like, my love, if it's not even that serious, why are you on the internet? Right? Like, you're literally on the internet, regardless of what's going on. It's almost, if something's really happening, say it, because it comes off as one-sided, and then it comes off like you're being a internet bully. So if somebody's doing you something, or you feel like there's, like you said, the guy from TDE, what's his name, Punch, has been bullying you, you have receipts, put the receipts out. Let us see the receipts. Now, I did go on Twitter because there was a woman who put a new song out called Broken Barbie. And I did listen to that, which to me was like a hot mess. But she was saying some stuff up in there. She was talking about Barbie, she was talking about Ken, and she was talking about brokenness, and then she was talking about she would like, if you listen to what she was saying, she pretty much she was in there saying some subliminal stuff. Now, this artist is falling under TDE, right? So if you look at it, maybe Nicki Minaj is looking at it like these people are just like taking shots at her, whether it's through a new artist, whether it's through, different people. But then also too, I have to remember there was this huge Drake slash Kendrick Lamar beef that, of course, Kendrick Lamar falls under the umbrella of TDE. And so maybe this is like some fallout behind that as well. Like, you got to put it all together when you really think about it. Because it's like, why are you going after SZA? Now, SZA and Drake used to deal with each other. And then SZA does kind of come off a little disloyal, being in cahoots with Kendrick Lamar after she was in a relationship or a situationship with Drake. So maybe Nicki Minaj is taking position with all these people. Like, she looking at everybody, she lining everybody up. Like, okay, whether it's Rock Nation, Desiree Perez, TDE. Because even when she wrote one thing to SZA, she put dot, 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 dot. And I'm like, okay, they call Kendrick Lamar dot. So when you look at what she's doing, she's kind of taking shots in different directions. Like, she's kind of like taking shots, and you can say this is a reach and this and no. Is what she's doing is very strategic, because when you look at it, ultimately these people got in alignment with Kendrick Lamar to take Drake down, right? Which they successfully have. They've tarnished his image. They've tarnished his brand. He's not this, even though he may be still rolling with the numbers, it's not the same. Let's keep it real. And the whole thing with the Super Bowl with Wayne, and I feel like Nicki is taking a position with all of that. It's not just one thing. I'm giving commentary. It's not just one thing. I think is the the whole Rock Nation slash title deal. I think is how they have protected Meg Thee Stallion and used money to lift her, but they had some deal with her, and obviously both sides didn't do what they supposed to do. And then you have Desiree Perez. She's playing a part in it because clearly she, some kind of way, she kind of coming up as the mastermind of all this little stuff that's going on. Her name is always being thrown around in some way. Then you have the takedown of Drake through Kendrick Lamar. Then Kendrick Lamar was given the Super Bowl over Wayne, right? That could look like something was going on, right? When you put it all together, it's one big web of behind the scenes stuff going on that we're not aware of, that obviously people are taking a position with. And the one thing you can say is, whether you like it or not, at least she's speaking up about it. A lot of people just get, they just go quiet because they don't want to rock the boat, because they don't want to, they don't want to get in the mix of anything. We've seen Tory Lane's dad go on live stream trying to speak on the case. This is like about a year and a half ago, and his live stream went sideways. Like, I'm literally on the live stream seeing this in real time. So I do feel like, they be playing a little bit. So SZA has gotten caught up in the crosshairs. This is why you gotta watch what you post. You can do what you want on your social media, but this is why you got, even whether you work a regular job, this is why you gotta watch what you posting on social media, because look at what's coming back to bite you. Now let me say this: nothing that SZA said was wrong. Nothing she said was wrong. And a lot of people be saying that. A lot of people be saying Ciara can't sing and Rihanna damn near can't sing and Beyonce bleaching her skin. Ain't nothing she said that nobody else said. like honestly, Ciara has not been the strongest singer. I believe Rihanna's a stronger singer than Ciara. But Ciara is not the strongest singer. She's a solid performer, a decent performer, but she's not a strong singer. That's a fact. Rihanna, she does pretty good, but she does have her moments where she can get on stage and her energy is low. She hasn't made music in years. But Beyonce, go look at some old videos and some old pictures of Beyonce. Y'all can sit here and windmill till your hands fall off, child. I don't give a damn. Child, she about 10 shades lighter. She's the complexion of my daughter. How you go from being light brown to damn near light skin, damn near what? So those things are facts. Now, you know what I'm saying? So it's nothing that SZA said that nobody else has been saying for years. Come on, let's be real. So TDE, this guy named Punch, has he really been behind the scenes bullying Nicki Minaj? Nicki Minaj, if you got a receipt, girl, pull the receipt out, girl. You always talk about you got a receipt. There ain't a receipt to be found. The only receipt you regurgitated was a receipt of SZA saying stuff about these people. Give me the energy around this guy, the people from TDE, some guy named Punch, an old guy. Give me the energy around. Is he really like behind the scenes being strategic, deceptive, manipulative practices? Is he really behind the scenes causing problems, or is Nicki Minaj just reaching? Give me the energy around a guy named Punch. Temperance. He is. So she's not making it up in her. He is the temperance and musician in reverse. Also, this talks about affecting her. Even with the SZA arrangement, the agreement, why nobody ever got back and said, okay, she anything. She reached out, y'all claim she reached out, and then there was nothing else, and then you expect her to just be like, whatever. But when you look at temperance, this talks about somebody, this can represent somebody who's affecting your path or trying to affect you or trying to throw roadblocks, right? Even with this one here, this represents manipulation happening, deception happening, right? So somebody could be manipulating. This is actually the musician is actually a card of talent, trying to manipulate the talent, right? Again, this is a pathway card. These both are pathways, but this just represents the money, the vision. He's not stopping Nicki Minaj from anything, but the point is that it does show his intentions are not good, right? This is what it talks about. When you look at some of the stuff too, when you look at, okay, well, why would he do this? Why is he focused on Nicki Minaj? This the temperance and stuff like that. That can represent they don't like the way the person talk, come across, the attitude, the energy, how they like. This is what the card of judgment represents. I don't like this person. Like sometimes people just, if I don't like the way the person come across, the way the person talk, the way the person is, the way the person move, I don't want to be bothered with them too. But why are you out there doing other stuff, extra stuff? Like you let her be where she at, you be where you at, and let it be. But this represents the card of this judgment cards can represent I don't like the way she comes across, and I don't like the way she is, and I don't like the way she treats people, and I don't like the way she does this. I mean, SZA is successful in her own lane, in her own right. SZA's not a rapper. Nicki Minaj is a rapper who sings sometime. Y'all are in two totally different lanes. We have to give credit where credit is due. She's successful in her own right. You're successful in your own right, right? Who's more popular? Who's this? You've been rolling 15, 16 years solid. What are we talking about here? But this could be what this is too. That lady that's on Twitter that wrote that has a song called "The Broken Barbie." Was this this guy, same guy Nicki Minaj is accusing, well, I guess same people, TDE. This lady released something. By the way, let me give you a bit of advice about that lady. Her energy is dark. Her look is not good. It gives off like a forced goth person. What the hell is she even saying in the very beginning? Thank God the words were up there. Like, she in a damn tree like a cheetah. Girl, what? Buku hair in front of her face. Girl, bye. We need to clearly see what you're doing and what you're saying. But was this song meant for Nicki Minaj? Was this a slight to Nicki Minaj, or is this a reach spirit? Are we just reaching? This is flying out, and this is Tower Moment energy. This talks about somebody who's trying to give a revelation, say something. So Nicki can take a position. Now, I wouldn't get a lady any light or shine or credit, anything like that, because at the end of the day, you're giving like some unknown person some attention. But you can sit down and say that song was a revelation moment or something that was being said, right? And he released it. What's his name? These people through TDE, he released it. And at the end of the day, he's not innocent. Like he's sitting here like, well, she did it, she asked for her collab 5 years ago, and I don't know what's going on. You have the Fool card next to you. The Fool card represents you're taking opportunities and doing little stuff, right? If the lady already got a problem with you, doing little stuff behind the scenes, then you up here releasing something through a new artist. They can do what they want, called Broken Barbie, and then talking about Barbie and Ken. I actually listened to it. Again, she was on Twitter, and I was looking at some of the words. Hold on, let me see. And it's actually on the guy's page that Nicki Minaj's Punch TDE. Yes. And then it's on the page. It's called Broken. It's called some girl child looking crazy as hell. So she's talking about Barbie. Then she's talking about Ken. Then she looking crazy. She looking crazy as hell. She in a tree like a cheetah. Let me see, child. I'm trying not to play it because I'm not going to play it. But I was looking at it. Broken Barbie. Then she says, it's something about, I am her. Here are the lyrics. Mad Barbies. Fuck ya. And then she's saying something about had no money for Kens. So they mad. If you really go pay attention to what she's saying, she's saying she taking some shots up in there. She's taking some shots up in there. So this is some unknown person who is talking about hating conversations and hating. Talking about leading the masses. Talking about you have you have the audacity. Go look at it and watch the words. She's a hater. And then she even saying something about somebody named Matt. I don't know. At the end of the day, go talking about she high. Go watch it and look at the words. And high and depressed. Just go watch it. And so this lady is saying something up in here. So you can take it for what you want. You can say it's a reach, but something is being said. This lady look crazy as hell. But anyway, let me get off her page before she possessed me. Anyway, so yeah, I think that I definitely feel like Nicki feels like they're taking shots. The only thing I would say with Nicki is if there are things that's happening behind the scenes, like shit, say that. You know, you out here speak it. Be like, you know, speak and stop talking in riddles so much. Like, girl, I gotta see him try to decipher. You 42 years old. You know, like, girl, speak out, be clear about it. You get like Krishan. I gotta hear the whole story to get the 2 pieces of information. If somebody's doing you something, right? Speak it really clearly so that we can understand what's going on. Like, issue with SZA. She has the card of manipulation with SZA. So she feels that SZA is a part of the problem. A part of the, you know, just like I said, a part of it. Why is she after SZA, child? I'm like, what the hell? Like I said, she thinks SZA's a part of it, right? When you see the moon card in reverse, moon card, you know, some people be playing innocent and they be playing a victim. But they got people who be playing both sides of the fence. They got people that be sitting, just like SZA sit there and talked about these celebrities. SZA sit there, you know, sometimes you got to watch people. They'll be using all those retrograde messages talking about people. You know what I'm saying? They do. I mean, I see it all the time. Also, the 8 of Wands. The 8 of Wands can be like a person who's sending out messages. So what Nicki's doing is trying to decipher. Like, first of all, she thinks SZA is sneaky, can't be trusted, messy as hell, throw the rock out of hand, Mercury retrograde, moon energy, wolves, and all that, right? Also, too, she you know, and she said something about SZA being manipulated. We have to watch people because they're not as manipulated as you think. Just like she was writing those messages on her own in 2011. They're like, people be saying what the hell they really feel. So sometimes we got to stop giving them. I like SZA a lot, but sometimes we got to stop giving people, you know, making it seem like they're always being manipulated. Sometimes people be on it, right? They be in it. Now, you know, they can initially come off and have some level of confusion, but sometimes people be seeing the vision. This represents the vision that represents to be a part of it. You know, all this mess going on with Kendrick and Drake, and she used to date, you know, Drake and all that. She going on with it, acting like it's just business, but it's bigger than that. It's like, you know, you're part of the mess and the confusion. And, you know, the moon card has a lot to do with being a part of confusion. So sometimes people can be silent in the midst of chaos. I did a reading on Drake, Kendrick Lamar, and the whole thing with the music and the streams. And I told you that Drake was going to find somebody who was going to be able to, he's going to be able to verify that somebody paid. That's exactly what's happening. I'm going to link that video in this chat. But this tower moment here, right, could represent like we will see more about this whole Drake Kendrick Lamar streaming thing, because like I said in that video that I did with Kendrick Lamar and Drake, I do feel like there was some manipulation happening with those streams, and they have now identified a person. I guess they got some receipts, and this tower moment is coming. So let me say this too, though. Even though I do feel like they all participate in some manipulation in streams, I feel like that. Even academics, I don't like academics, but the one thing academics did say in his video is that one time I heard him on a live stream a lot of these artists be paying for stuff, be paying for promos and streaming and this, that, and the other. And it doesn't have to be legal streams sometimes. I mean, right on Google, I'm looking at my point on my computer, but you can go right through Google and legitimately pay for advertisement. You can legitimately, and they'll ask you questions like, do you want more, views? Do you want people, more subscribers? Or you want to drive people to your website? Right through Google. Now, the guy who, with the Kendrick Lamar situation, that's a whole nother situation. But I'm saying that, like, I did a video on that and said that, like, at the end of the day, he'll be able to prove it. My problem with Drake is this: you kind of like SZA a little bit. You've been throwing stuff in the air. Then when you get into a beef, now you want to start crying and getting on the internet and doing A, B, C, and D. I don't respect you for that, because it's like at the end of the day, you've said some things too about this man being abusive to his wife, and his child wasn't his, and you've made some comments as well. And to just take it out of, like, to take it to where he's taking it is just like he's literally, I think if anything, that's also hurt him, his credibility. We already know he's not from the streets, but it's just hurt him, like, as an artist. You just, like, watered down, weak now, because it's like, not that Kendrick has the right to say what he wants to say, but I'm like, at the end of the day, like, well, they're beefing. It is open season, it's open forum. But it's like, I just don't respect it. I just don't respect how he's going about, like, he acting like the song can't be popular. Are you looking at the stadiums that are in the man is playing to? Do you looking at the Super Bowl that the man is playing to? He's getting, are you looking at, like, we can say, okay, yeah, there's some streams that were paid, but are you actually looking at what's in front of you? Did you not see him when he came out and did the concert? How that shit was packed and people were singing that from word for word? That's not made up. That's real time. So at the end of the day, two things can be true at the same time. That song took off and people were feeling it, and it's successful, and it had its own popularity, and somebody could have paid some views for it too. Two things can be true at the same time. And it's like he just can't accept that this song rose to the heights that it rose. And what's the biggest issue? The bigger issue to me is that he cannot accept that people really felt this way about him. That's what you can't accept. You're trying to make it seem like people, if people is really, like, feeling you like that, the tides, he could have never done what he did to turn the tides against you. Like, this means that for this to happen to you means a lot of people felt that way about you. Fans, a lot of people been sitting back, not really. He said in his song, I'm speaking for, like, a lot of the culture. There are a lot of people who felt what he said, and therefore this is why you're impacted. So that's the real truth of the matter. All right. Anyway, I've always loved a lot of Drake's music. I do love Nicki Minaj's music. Of course, I have a few songs that I like from SZA. Of course, I'm a huge Lil Wayne fan. Y'all know that I'm from New Orleans. He's from New Orleans. I'm from the 17. He's from the 17. I went to Abe. He went to Abe. I grew up in, moved to New Orleans. He's in, like, same kind of little trajectory. But I'm just saying, like, I'm a big Lil Wayne fan. But at the end of the day, I do feel like it was a strategic effort to affect Drake. That's in fact affecting Wayne. Then you have this little thing that's going on behind the scenes. I do feel like there's a lot of stuff. It's almost like when you look at it, like somebody got real mad, real bothered, real hot that these people, with the I guess you say these three people were they've been kind of dominating rap. Somebody's mad because Wayne has from who he is, he's spun out all these different younger artists, Trippie Redd and the guy who JT is with, Travis Scott's of the world, the other guy. Like, Jay-Z didn't do that. Wayne did that. So you gotta, like, to me, there is somebody, there are people behind the scenes doing stuff because of envy and jealousy and wanting to take people down. And at the end of the day, they want to humble people. All right. So I don't think it's too far. I don't agree with Nicki Minaj and the public bullying, because when you're gonna bully somebody about their looks. It's one thing to speak on the music, but you're gonna bully about somebody about your look when her own weight has fluctuated up and down. Bully somebody about their looks and then turn around and talk about it, and it's not that serious. Yeah, it's real serious. Like, because it's one thing to stick to the business, stick to the music, stick to what's going on, and you're up here bullying somebody about their looks. All right, like, comment, subscribe, share if you care. I think I can never be on social media as somebody who's in this sector arguing with another person in my sector about nothing. I'm not doing it. But again, everybody has the right to deal with things the way they want to deal with, but I'm just personally not doing it. Like, comment, subscribe, share if you care. We back on Nicki Minaj again, chill. Then she'd be on there. You gotta think these barbs are now 40 something years old. So these are like grown women online hollering, screaming, arguing. like when you really think about it. Like, these are not little bitty 17-year-olds listening to, like, they may have some, but these are people who grew up with her who consider themselves barbs. These are grown women and some men who are working, like, at the light company, running businesses, out here online battling behind Nicki Minaj and SZA and Nicki Minaj and Meg Thee Stallion and all this stuff. But it's quite funny. Y'all like, comment, subscribe, share if you care. But I do feel like there's a strategic effort to affect other people's business, brands, livelihoods, etc., using and it all is like, when you look at it, there's a little common thread going on, which is Jay-Z, Rock Nation / Tidal, these people from TDE, they're all linking up together, like coming together. There's all one big link. But good luck, take care, stay blessed, encouraged, and empowered. Peace and blessings.